Hi friends, and welcome back to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if you've been watching my recent videos, you know we've been talking about getting ready for back to school season. Well, today we're diving in headfirst with a real-time brain dump specifically focused on all those back to school thoughts, tasks, and anxieties swirling around in your head. A few months ago, I did a complete brain dump tutorial that resonated with a lot of you. Today, we're taking that same process but applying it to this crazy season when everything feels like your life is happening at once. So grab your notebook, planner, or whatever you're using, and let's get all of this back to school chaos out of our heads and onto paper together. Just like in my previous brain dump video, we're going to start by setting the mood. I've got my favorite pen, a clean spread in my planner, and I've cleared my space. You'll notice I'm using the same categories I showed you before, but today I'm adding a back to school specific section. So today my categories are back to school, home, a list for each kid, and a category, of course, for making all the plans. I'm also going to decorate this page just a little bit, not because it has to be pretty, but because it makes me want to come back to this list. And trust me, with everything happening right now, I need all the motivation I can get to stay on top of things. So the first thing that I need to do is decide where I want my brain dump to live. And I've been liking my brain dump and my Hobonichi cousin, so that is where I am going to write the one for today as well. I do have a post-it note marking my spot so that it's easy to find, but I will just find a new set of pages where I can write in my brain dump where it won't affect any future planning, and then I will just reference those pages whenever I need to pull some new items from my brain dump or go ahead and add things to it. You may want to pick a notebook or your planner to put your brain dump in, or you could also write it out and post it so that it is on the wall or on the side of your refrigerator. But I encourage you to find a place where it's easy to get back to that list, but somewhere where it won't overwhelm you. So I do want to bring you along with me in real time today. I do want to bring you along in real time today. I am doing a voiceover because I have a hard time talking and writing and decorating at the same time. So I am doing a voiceover, but I want to leave this in real time. So at 100% so that it's not sped up. So you can see how long it actually takes me to do a brain dump. Now, one disclaimer is I have been doing brain dumps for a long time. I know what categories I need to have in order for my brain dump to make sense. So you may need to take an extra step of categorizing your items once you write them out. But for me, this pre-categorization saves time. As I mentioned, I do like to decorate my spread. So let's take a few minutes and decorate. I did go ahead and put chapters into this video. So if you want to skip ahead, you can. But if you want to decorate along with me, I will put on some music. We can decorate together and then we will come back together and build our list.
So the last thing I'm doing is writing in a few headers and then drawing in some lines so that I have 4 columns across the page instead of just 2.
Okay, just like before, this is stream of consciousness time. No organizing, no prioritizing, just getting everything out. I'm setting my timer for 15 minutes because back to school season is intense and I know I have more swirling around than usual. And just like in my previous video, I'm going to start by looking through my recent notes and sticky notes because honestly, my brain feels a little frozen when I try to think of where to start. Remember, if you're doing this with me at home, don't worry about what I'm writing down unless it triggers a thought for you. Focus on your own family's needs. Your back to school brain dump may look completely different from mine, and that's exactly how it should be. Remember, I have a senior and a freshman, so if you have kids that are going off to college or younger kids, there could be a completely different list in front of you.
So as I mentioned, I already have categories that I like to use when I am doing my brain dump. If you already have categories that you think you'd like to use, you can go ahead and break these down now if you want to save time later. But I am going to have the following categories. I always have home, one category for each one of my kids, and my kids' names are Ben and Kenzie. And then I have one for making all the plans. Today, I'm also going to add sections for back to school, and eventually I will come back in and write in returns because there are all of those things that I bought for back to school that we don't need. So, clothes that the kids have tried on, clothes that I tried on for my trip to Boston, items that they thought they were going to need for class but don't, so I will take those back so I'm not storing as much stuff, things like that. I am using my mild liner to put down some color before I write in my headers, but I generally know how much space I am going to need for each area of my life. If you don't know, you could write them each on different pages or different sheets of paper, however it works for you. But as soon as you find a system that works for you, stick with it. It helps the more that you do it, and it saves a ton of time if you are not constantly reinventing the wheel and instead you are just working through the system that you have set up. Once I have my page set up, I am going to start just stream of consciousness writing things down. I'm also going to move over those things from my previous brain dump that I didn't quite complete yet. I will also go through my notebook and my planner and make sure that I have captured all of the tasks that I have not yet completed. I would also grab any post-it notes or loose papers that were sitting on my desk, but right now I happen to not have any of those, which I am grateful for. But you may also want to flip through your mail, or if you have a Sunday basket or anything like that, and just figure out all of the tasks. I also tend to jump around wherever an idea pops into my brain. I go ahead and write it down. So I may be mid writing my list over from my previous brain dump and think of a new idea, and I will go ahead and take that time to write it down before I lose it again. So, some things that I am copying over from my previous brain dump include repairing my son's brake light, and we did buy the bulbs. We just haven't had the time to replace the bulb yet. And he likes to help do that or take initiative and do it himself. But when he's not home and his car's not home, it is hard to complete that task. The other thing that I've been writing over multiple times is my glasses repair. There's something wrong with my eyeglasses, so I need to take those in. I did finally make the appointment, but I'm going to leave it on the list until I actually get that completed. Then I also need to order contacts because I've been wearing my contacts a lot more since my glasses have needed repaired. And then I need to visit the Stephanie Spielman store and just make sure they actually do what it says they do on the website before I make an appointment for my mom. Then I'm jumping over to my son's list, and it's a little confusing how I break things up between my son, my daughter, and school. But my school list tends to be more general things that will apply to both of them. And then each kid's list is specific to them. So things for my son include emailing a soccer coach, signing up for some ID camps this fall, getting his video clips together, scheduling college visits, all of these graduation type things that need to be completed. For my daughter, on the other hand, I need to talk to the counselor about her 504 plan, and she needs to find a homecoming dress if we are going to have to order it. Types of things that I'll put on the back to school brain dump area will be verifying their schedules, matching their times of their classes with the classes that they're in so that I know when I make doctor's appointments what they'll be missing. I need to pay the school fees, things like that. So hopefully you are brain dumping along with me. Let's put on some music and do some work, and then I'll come back and we can talk some more. So ideally, I would not be rewriting my task list or my brain dump list over and over again like this, but I do put so much on a brain dump list at one time, and I typically rewrite my brain dump list every 2 to 4 weeks, so I'm bound to have to write a few things over again. And the goal here is to continue to make progress, chipping away at things and not aiming for perfection. I know that my to-do list will never be completely done, although that sounds amazing, but I know that realistically, everything just will not all be done at one time. So, in case you are wondering what this second column was for on the first page, that is to continue my home list. But it's a little different than the other lists that I have going on the left column. The left column is more household type things, keeping my household running, doing all of those other chores that are household related. On the right column, that is more home focused. So, those bigger projects that need to be done around the house, things to keep the actual structure of our house maintained. Hopefully that makes sense. It does make sense in my mind, and this part of the list is always the longest and it always gets the fewest items checked off. I always think I'm going to make time for it, but we had about 2 free weekends the entire summer, and we did chip a lot away, but there was still so much more to do. So I'm hoping to still have a few nice weekends to chip away at those exterior home projects that I would like to finish. Thankfully, this weekend is a long weekend, so we are hoping to get the bushes and plant them this weekend so that they have time to get settled before the cold comes. There is also one more part of the house that I absolutely have to pressure wash because it is pretty green and it's just hard to reach. So I need somebody else's assistance as I'm doing that. But it's also supposed to be kind of chilly this weekend. So we'll have to see what things I can actually get accomplished with chillier weather versus what needs to be warmer for. There are some other things that I absolutely need to get done, but it will have to be a certain temperature to paint and stain. So I'm hoping that I have another weekend or two to get some things done. Unfortunately, next weekend I will be out of town, so that weekend is shot. I'm kind of hoping that we have crummy weather that weekend, just so it doesn't feel like I am wasting a weekend away. So, how is your list looking? My list is looking pretty full, and for some reason, when I do a brain dump, I don't get overwhelmed. I feel relief that it's all out of my brain. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, feel free to stop writing and just pick some of the tasks that are burning at you right now to focus on. But my hope is that once you do get it all out, that you'll have some free space in your brain to be able to focus on those top items. So I am going to go ahead and continue building my list. I've gone through my notebook now. I've gone back to my old brain dump and copied those items over that I needed to copy over. Next, I'm going to grab my planner and go through my planner and make sure everything has been copied over from the last few weeks. I may not have moved a task forward to the next week if it wasn't necessary to be done or if I knew I wasn't going to have the time. But I do like to go through at least once a month, archive those pages, but look at them first before I archive them and make sure that those tasks have been moved forward to somewhere that I will see them and be able to prioritize them when the time is right. As I am flipping through my planner, I'm not expecting to find too many things that need to be moved over to my brain dump list simply because a lot of things originally came from my brain dump list and got moved into my planner. So, most likely, there will not be very many things that need to be added to the list. Now I will get my planner put away and I will switch over to my making all the plans tasks. And I'm just going to write out all of the making all the plans tasks that I need to do in the next few weeks and fill up that space. I know that my making all the plans tasks are never ending since this is hopefully going to be a channel that survives for a while. But I did go ahead and put the admin-like tasks at the top of the Making All the Plans list. And now I will just write out all of the tasks that need to be completed in the order that they will be published on YouTube. As a side note, if you are new here, I do have a full-time job, and that is not YouTube. I like to keep those tasks separate because I have a notebook that I keep all my meeting notes and all of the other reference items that I need on a regular basis at work. So I like to put my brain dump in that and keep it separate from all of my home tasks. I do like to try to shut off when I'm actually not working, even though I'm pretty much on call 24/7 since I do have a technical job. And if something goes down, I do get called and am expected to help get systems back online or whatnot. So I do like to keep all that separate just so that I can switch away from work when I can. But all that to say that I do go through this same system with work tasks. I may have one long list or I may break it down by project, just depending on what is happening at work and what projects there are versus what just day-to-day maintenance things are going on my list. If you do have any questions about that, don't hesitate to shoot me a message down below in the comments. I love to talk out productivity issues and finding solutions for them. So, as you wrap up your list, I am also wrapping up mine right now, but as you wrap up your list, let me know down below how you're feeling now that you've gotten your brain dump completed and everything is out of your brain. I know that I feel better and I feel like now I can focus on the tasks that actually need to be completed.
Just like in my previous brain dump video, once I get the obvious stuff out, I like to dig a little deeper with some reflection questions. For back to school, I'm asking questions of myself, such as, what am I most anxious about regarding the new school year? What transitions is my family not prepared for? What worked last year that I want to repeat? What didn't work that I want to change? What decisions about the school year am I putting off? These questions always reveal the stuff that's taking up mental space but hasn't made it to the list yet. And during back to school season, there's usually a lot hiding in those corners of our minds. So, a few things that I want to add to my list are coming up with some breakfast prep ideas. Also, double checking both kids' schedules and making sure they have all the school supplies they need for each of their classes. If you made one long list of all your to-do items, now is the time where you would want to break these up into groups. So because I already know my frequent categories and I wrote down my list so that it's already broken up into those categories, I don't have to do this next step. But if you just have one long list of to-do items, now is the time where you want to categorize those items into different categories based upon how many items you have. So if you have a lot of items around meal prep, maybe you'll have a category around that. If you have a lot of errands, you could have a category for errands. I also used to have groups for phone calls as well as things that I did on my computer. But my brain doesn't quite work like that anymore just because I tend to get those 2-minute tasks done right away. If you're not familiar with the 2-minute rule, it's when if I can knock something out in 2 minutes or less, I'll do it right now. Once you get everything divided into categories and you've knocked off those items that you can finish within 2 minutes or less, I'll then pick my top priorities for this week and move those to my daily action plan. The rest stays on this master list until I've cleared the most urgent items. If you missed my original brain dump tutorial, I'll link it in the description below. That video walks through the complete process from start to finish, including how to organize everything once you've got it out of your head. Remember, you don't have to carry all of this back to school stress in your head. Getting it down on paper is the first step to feeling more in control and less overwhelmed. If this helped you feel a little bit lighter, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments how your back to school brain dump went. And if you want more planning tips to help you get through this crazy season, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for brain dumping with me today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.